tripod or monopod? This is a good question, and sometimes I'm not sure we choose it. Hello everybody, welcome back. For wildlife photography, a good tripod is essential, mostly when you are in a photo blind and you want to get sharp images. Now, I won't tell you what's the best wildlife tripod as long as it exists, and I won't tell you what's mine, but if you are interested, you can watch it by clicking the link below. However, I'm going to tell you what are the main differences between a tripod and a monopod and what I'm using both. And if you are really interested in wildlife photography and maybe you are a beginner, you might subscribe to my channel to know this wonderful world and the right way to approach the wildlife, as well as to understand what are the best equipments for our passion, okay? So let's crack on. Okay guys, in the world there are plenty of different tripods and almost are really good, but that's not the point. Now we are going to analyze pros and cons of a tripod for wildlife photography. How much is comfortable to use it? I'd say a lot. There is nothing better than sit down in a blind and shooting your favorite animal without touching the camera and the tripod. Yes, one of the most advantages of using a tripod is that you'll have good pictures really often. Use it comfortably or remote control. Of course, when animals move somewhere, you'll have to follow them, but it isn't a big deal usually. And if you have got a gimbal head, everything becomes easier. Another good factor of using a tripod is that you can use big lenses, so having a 600mm f4 or a 800mm f5.6 will be easy to manage, and to finish you can use a tripod staying laid on the ground, of course not minding there is a central column. But what happens if you can't use a photo blind and you need to walk maybe in a woodland? Okay, now things are more challenging. To carry a lot of weight somewhere is not always easy. Okay, you can put the tripod with the lens and camera on your shoulder. When you need to shoot something, you can put it on the ground. If your equipment is quite light, I think there is no problem using them like that. But if you have got big lenses, so it will be hard to manage comfortably, and you might get tired really soon, and you may also make some noise opening and closing every time the tripod. And to finish, a tripod is usually more expensive than a monopod. For a long time I wished a monopod, and finally I got one. Once I put a ball head on it, I started to go around looking for animals, and always my camera with me. But let's see pros and cons of a monopod. There is no doubt, a monopod is lighter than a tripod, and it's really fast to use it. You can walk almost everywhere with it, knowing that you'll be ready to shoot every time you need it. So the most advantage of a monopod are the fast and the lightness. And a monopod is usually cheaper than a tripod, but also a monopod has some issue. First of all, the shaking. In bad light condition could be the worst idea using a monopod, because your images could be soft or out of focus. So, for having a decent shutter speed, you start to increase the ISO value, giving to your images a lot of luminance noise. And another cons is that you can't use it on seeing light on the ground, unless you turn completely the head of the monopod or like that. Okay, we are at the end. To summarize, we have pros and cons for both, and they can be used better in only some situations. Do you need good quality picture? Okay, go for a tripod. Do you need lightness and fast? Okay, go for a monopod. So none of them exclude the other. You can use both depending on the situation. Of course, you can also improve every choice. So for example, you might buy a tripod base for the monopod to have more stability. Or you can buy a light carbon fiber tripod to have less weight to carry. Very well, it's time to say goodbye. I hope this video will be useful for you. If not, tell me why in the comment section below. But if you enjoyed this video, please give me a like, and as always, take care and respect animals and the environment. See you, bye bye.